Jacques, I mean, for me, it's not so much like, wow, Jacques presented this information and that information. Although it's his model of thinking, I think, right? He sets the example to think deeper, right? Not to take things at face value. Um, to look at all the nuances and all these different things that are not obvious. Like we're thinking about uh, UFOs and aliens and things like that, and he's saying like, wait, hold on a second. Uh, it might not be that simple. Uh, I mean, he just brings complexity to the discourse. And I was actually in a recent interview where the interviewer accused him of you know kind of trying to kill the extraterrestrial hypothesis conversation, and that he is in part of disinformation into the UFO subject as a gatekeeper, and trying to make everything vague and not to try to kind of like make the conversation more complex than it needs to be in order to mask and hide the reality of some of the simple facts. And I think that Jacques has made incredible contributions to the field, probably some that we'll never know about. And again, he was involved in the original United Nations thing back in the early '70s, right? Like he's been there the whole time. He was with Hynek on Blue Book. It's again, his books at the time were almost rejected as like blasphemy, and it's only in like the past few years that people are finally coming on to the ideas that he started writing about in the '60s, right? So just way ahead of his time in a lot of regards. His process of thinking, his nuance, bigger picture view, uh, and he's just a great writer in general.
And you've got your hands on some of his journal entries too, haven't you?
Well, so he has uh, released a series called Forbidden Science, and now it's up to volume 6. And if you read those journals, you're going to see names like Ron Pandolfi. You're going to hear about the Invisible College in like nuanced details, like who was doing what at what time, who was involved in like this kind of meeting, who was inquiring into specific types of research, and just it's like a lot of breadcrumbs that if you try to piece things together, they're really good leads for research. So, I think his journals are invaluable. And again, like Grant Cameron says, he's kind of throwing people under the bus there. He's sharing unconvenient details regarding the Invisible College and just all his experiences, people he talked to, meetings he had.
Well, he's what, 85 now too, so he's getting to the age where he might not care as much as when he was in his 40s investigating
Yeah,
this stuff.
I mean, I wish he would just dump everything. I mean, there's the Archives of the Impossible at Rice University in Texas. Uh, they're actually having an event coming up regarding UFOs, and he has a collection there that is going to be made public, I believe, over the course of a number of years. I don't know how many phases that has, but I believe in that collection of documents that he has a lot of interesting pieces of information. Um, I also have it on good word through a source I'm going to have to keep anonymous, that the document that he has discussed in Forbidden Science Volume 4 that states, Jacques Valee is stating in a journal entry that he had acquired and secured a CIA document talking about the CIA staging UFO events in South America, in Argentina, in Brazil, and that is very reminiscent of the Colaris events, right? Where it seems like there was stagecraft involved, where there was experimentation involved of technologies used on humans, and they used UFOs as a cover. And like that when you hear staged abductions and whatnot. So I believe that document is within that collection. And if that's the case, I don't know if we'll ever see that one.